by Greg Joseph as time expires to secure the 19-17 Vikings victory. The purple and gold improved to 2-3 in dramatic fashion. Welcome into Vikings Postgame Live, presented by Miller Lite. I'm Tatum Everett here in TCO Studios, and the Vikings improved to 2-3 on the season, as I just mentioned, after that win. I hope your heart rates have calmed down a little bit more than mine right now. I feel like mine is still beating crazy because they're in the final 2 minutes. It got a little dicey. Ron Johnson here to my left, former NFL wide receiver. But before we get to you, Ron, which I know we have a lot to talk about, we need to send it out to Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer.
Wasn't the prettiest of wins, but it was a win, and we'll take it. Sometimes when you win games like that, it's a good thing because it evens out at some point if you can keep plugging along. So proud of our guys, the way they fought. Not particularly proud of the way we played, though. Questions?
Just your thoughts on Greg Joseph. I mean, it was just 3 weeks ago he missed that kick against Arizona, and just the way he bounced back.
Yeah, he did a nice job, made a nice kick, and feels good to win.
Was the plan to rotate in Darrisaw with Hill over the course of the game, or was there something in the game that necessitated a couple of changes there?
That was the plan.
Mike, a win is a win, but does it feel any different when the performance is not there?
Well, it's better than a loss, that's for sure, Joe. I think, but yeah, it probably feels different, yeah. We had plenty of opportunities in the second half. We got, we scored a touchdown with Thielen, and we get called on a, some kind of call, stops a touchdown. Then we get 2 turnovers, and we sack them on 4th down. And, I don't know did we get any points out of those 3 points? Yeah, we got to find a way to do better than that.
Is there anything that you think was holding the offense back specifically?
They're pretty stout on defense, and they do a good job mixing the coverages and the different pressures. I think I think it helped having Flowers back. But they did a good job, and there was times we ran the ball well, and there was times we didn't. Probably took our foot off the gas a little bit on the one play, on the one series that we shouldn't have.
Coach Justin Jefferson said that he sees at practice a lot of times Eric Kendricks practicing catches. Did his one-handed interception surprise you, impress you?
It reminded me a lot of last year when we played Detroit. He made a great interception in the end zone last year. So that was a great play.
Mike, when you talk about take your foot off the gas on that one series, was that the series before halftime with the 2 runs?
No. It was after we got the sack, I believe. We ran it and didn't get much yards, and then we tried to throw a boot, and they covered it.
Do you feel overall you were too conservative on offense, or you just think it was that one series you won?
No, just that one series.
With the series before halftime, was it just a matter of wanting to run the clock out there because you were getting the ball back?
Well, I shouldn't have to explain all this to you, but the plan was if we've screwed up a couple plays in the end of the first half this year, right? Because we ran out of bounds, we did some things. So the plan was to run the ball the first play, see how much yards we get, and then go from there. If we get a first down, then we get on the ball and we move. But we got no yards, so that was that.
Mike, Justin and Adam both said you guys practiced those end of game 2-minute things a lot. Just in terms of the execution you saw on that to get into field goal range.
Yeah, it was really good. I mean, we had 37 seconds and 2 timeouts or something like that, and we've been doing a lot of extra 2-minute stuff. End of half, end of game. We've been doing a lot of extra stuff like that, and it paid off today. It was a good deal.
With Everson Griffin getting the start, was that a nod to how he had been playing for you up to this point?
Yes.
How did you think he did today?
I mean, he got a sack. I think, did he get a sack? I don't know. It's so hard for me to see individual players when they're unless I'm focusing on them. It's hard for me to evaluate players on the day of the game.
In general, the pass rush was getting after him. I think you guys got sacks on back-to-back plays twice in there. Did you kind of sense the pressure was getting to him at the end of the game there?
Yeah, I mean, I felt good about it. You know, they had, I think we were up by 10, and there was 2-something left or something, and we sacked them 2 or 3 times, I thought.
Can you offer any thoughts, though, on how you thought Anthony Barr looked in his first game this year?
Not unless I'm really focusing on him. I mean, you know, there's times I focus on guys, but it's really hard for me to see their guys and our guys.
Mike, was there much, if any, deliberation on running the ball on third down when Madison fumbled, or throwing it, get the first down, and just burn the clock?
One more time.
Was there much thought of, instead of running the ball on third down, maybe passing it?
Well, we talked about it. If we punted the ball, they'd had 1 minute and 20 seconds left or something. And, you know, the way we've been rushing their quarterback, I figured we had a good chance not to let them score a touchdown. So I think it would have been 1:21 left if we ran the ball. And then, so that was that.
Mike, on Madison's touchdown, it seems like it's a nice design play to kind of create space for him there. Can you talk about the way that play is, and then also
Say one more time.
Madison's touchdown, it seems like the tight end and the Jefferson go out to kind of bring the defense out, and then there's all that space for him in there. Is that the way it's set up, or also his effort once he got the ball?
Yeah, that's what a lot of teams are doing now. They're trying to get guys to leave the box, you know, where you get a chance to roll things back. You know, you start it one way and bring it back out the other way, but that's, you know, they were doing a lot of that today with us with the Rockets and bringing the tight end back, and the tight end was, you know, sometimes motioning fast, like rocket motion, and you know, trying to get to our short side.
Mike, what's your approach on the last-second field goal there, whether it's in Arizona or tonight? Do you look? Do you not look? What's sort of your emotions on a play like that?
I usually don't look. And I'm usually saying if they're kicking, miss this, blankety blank, and if we're kicking it, it's make this blankety blank.
You mentioned previously heading into the week that there may be some conditioning concerns, football conditioning concerns.
Yeah, there's not. There's not. We checked the GPS. We played 78 plays last week on defense. We played, I was told for a fact that we're not out of shape.
No, I'm specifically asking about Christian Darrisaw and maybe that
sorry.
role in the rotation.
Pardon me?
Did that maybe play a role in the rotation?
No, he's practiced 12 times. I mean, you know, he's still got a ways to go. He's still got a ways to go. So we're just trying to break him in easy. It's got nothing to do really with conditioning now. It's about practice time.
Time for 2 more. Mike, is the run defense still not quite where you want it?
Well, they hit a couple on us today. I was ticked off early. I think we settled down. We made some adjustments. I thought they copied a few of the plays that Cleveland ran, and then we got out of position. But they were bringing guys. It's a long story, but they'd line up with 2 guys here, get angles on us, bring the other guy around along with another guy, and then they try to get to the perimeter a couple times. So, you know, early it was ugly, and then it was much better once we cleared it up. You know, again, they scored 1 touchdown on us today, so, you know, there's a lot of good things. I think they were 27% on third down, you know, 288 yards. So if I'm going to find some things to complain about, it would be that and that last after the fumble.
With Adam Thielen, did you see anything beginning of the game that they had kind of disrupted Kirk's connection with him before the end there?
I did not. I know they were mixing up the coverages a lot. They had you know, they were rolling to you know, Aaron Glenn was with me before, so he kind of knows how to take some guys away when they're trying to. So, you know, they'll roll the safety over there to him. They'll double him, and they'll do the same thing with JJ at times too. So it was just a mixture of things.
Was Vikings head coach Mike Zimmer at the podium just a bit ago. Next to me right now, though, former NFL wide receiver Ron Johnson. Ron, it was a much more subdued coach after we saw him chest bumping Kirk Cousins after the big Vikings victory today. What was your biggest takeaway from his conversation just now?
Well, one, I mean, the first initial celebration, the chest bump or fight, whatever you want to call that, that shows respect. I mean, that's what two boys do, like, you know, if you're happy after a win versus just like a little high five and you walk away. So that is showing the rapport between him and Kirk is clearly getting better. My immediate takeaway is you should have beat them by more. But at the end of the day, the record is never like there's no photos of the game. It's just, here's your record, let's move on to the playoffs. And so if they can beat the Panthers and go 3-3, now going into the bye week, it feels a lot better at 500 than it would if they were 1-5. And so I think that was a huge win, another momentum builder. And then to teach guys, hey, this is what it feels like to win again. Like, we have to get back into this.
Yeah, I mean, he said it himself. It wasn't one of the prettiest wins, but a win is a win. And let's see how we got to that win. Vikings highlights right now. It was loud in US Bank Stadium today, especially after this play. Kirk Cousins in the second quarter up 6-3. Gives it off to Alexander Mattison there, a 15-yard hard-fought touchdown.
Yeah, you'll just see him on a Texas route. You got double stack to the right, and then you got him on a Texas route under. And then you're going to get the extra effort from the offensive line. They get credit for this touchdown here with the push at the end.
We'll pick things up in the second. Oh, you told me to look at Justin
Jefferson
this time.
I love that.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He's excited for his dude, Alexander Mattison, had a big day. We'll talk about those two stars later on in the show. But here's the interception that really gave the Vikings some momentum.
Yeah, this is the RPO. And so, like Zimmer said, they ran some plays that the Browns ran. And here's a true RPO, but Everson reads it right away, which forces Goff to throw it sooner than he wanted to. And because of Everson, he didn't see Eric Kendrick bluff and then back up. So you can't see Everson, right? See, you just couldn't see him. So we got to look at what he could see. It looked like there was a lane, and then all of a sudden Kendrick could come out of nowhere, one-handed interception.
Well, and he had like a go-go gadget arm there too. That's what it felt like.
I mean, that's those new sticky gloves.
There you go. That's what it is. That's what it is. All right, up 16-9 with 2 minutes left in the game, and this play really turned things around for the Vikings.
Yeah, and the Vikings sometimes have been hit with that.
With an Alexander Mattison fumble, which led to this DeAndre Swift touchdown, the Lions would go for 2. It's Jared Goff, surprisingly back to pass here, feeling the pressure, but finds Kaderil Hodge in the back of the end zone to take a 1-point lead.
Yeah, because Quintez Cephas was out. Now he's number receiver 4, and he makes the play.
Kirk Cousins stepped up to the plate. He couldn't find Adam Thielen at all this game until the final drive where he found him twice to set up the 54-yard Greg Joseph kick to win the game.
Yeah, 2 catches, 40 yards. That was the biggest 2 catches of his career.
And then there we have it. The 54-yarder Greg Joseph, 4-5 today, included a career long. He also hit a 55-yard field goal, the longest field goal made in US Bank Stadium. There he is, the team lifting up the man of the hour, ready for him to be fans calling for him after that Bengals game, or the Cardinals game, and then now the hero today, Ron.
Yeah, and redemption. He missed the kick earlier today and then got to turn around. Zimmer trusted him, and he made the field goal to make up for his mistakes.
Your final stats right there. Turnovers on both sides, not the cleanest of games, but time of possession stands out to me. They were able to hold on to the ball long enough to give themselves a win today.
And I think the biggest thing is the run game. The Lions have been running the ball pretty well. The Vikings' run defense was kind of bad, but then somehow they figured it out in the second half and were able to stop them.
So we're going to get right into things. The Vikings win it with a field goal. I mean, I know that fans love to hear that sentence. Justin Jefferson had a huge day, another 100-plus yards receiving day. And Alexander Mattison with a career day, stepping up in Cook's absence. He has now been the starter in 2 of the 5 games. Also, we're going to jump right into, though, the pass rush for this game they were dominant today. You had Everson Griffin with 2 sacks, DJ Wanham with his first sack of his career, and Danielle Hunter out there with 1 sack. They looked like they got to Jared Goff and really disrupted his rhythm early on.
Yeah, and it was play after play, and I think that was the key. When it rained, it poured for Jared Goff. He got sacked once by Everson Griffin, turned right back around, got hit by Everson and Danielle, fumbled the ball. And then again, Danielle gets a sack, turns right back around, DJ Wanham gets a sack. So it was just, Mike Zimmer Zimmer figured it out, how to get pressure. And honestly, a lot of it was man blocking schemes. Like, it wasn't like a ton of blitzes and crosses. It was just Everson beating his guy, Daniil beating his guy, and DJ Wonnum beating his guy. So that's the key, is these guys just beat their man, and that's all you can ask for.
Jared Goff, oh, here we go. This is the play Everson Griffin got to Goff. I mean, just swims past his man.
Yeah, and that's it. That was just man blocking. You know, Eric Kendricks was the spy, and so he had to hold the ball a little bit longer than he wanted to.
Goff 21 of 35 today, 203 yards, 1 interception and a fumble.
Yeah, and here's the fumble. And you're going to see, this is what coaches say, meet me at the quarterback. Defensive linemen always say that in the huddle before a blitz or a rush is called. Let's meet at the quarterback. They met at the quarterback with a huge hit on his arm, and he fumbles the ball. And this one here, this is just Anthony Barr being in the A-gap. He's going to confuse Jared Goff. It was great to see him. And now what's going to happen is that whole left side of the line is so worried about Barr, the right side is left unmanned. You now see 3 guys on 2, and Goff has to get rid of the ball on 3rd and 6. He gets rid of it too soon, which makes Bashaud Breeland's job extremely easy to come up and make that tackle.
And there is Goff's scatter chart. Just not an overall great day for the new Lions quarterback.
Yeah, he didn't have time to throw it deep. I mean, you look at that. Yeah. There's only 2 passes, I think, 10 yards? It was a bunch of dink and dunks. It was underneath throws, but it was because of the rush. When you have happy feet and you're worried about that, you don't have time. And so that was a great job.
Okay, so let's switch things to the Vikings offense. And I feel like we talk about this every single week, but I think that's a great thing. Justin Jefferson, a big day today. Entering today, he had 133 receiving yards in the first half combined in the first 4 games. Today, 104. Just today. And that's just a big day for the second-year receiver who I know people were nervous about maybe hitting that sophomore slump. I think we're safe to say that's not.
No, and again, I give my hat off to Kurt. That first deep ball, he threw the ball, and Justin Jefferson was still even with the DB, if not behind him maybe by a yard. And that's Kurt being a little bit aggressive, taking that chance. Last week, people were on him. Hey, why aren't you throwing the ball? And he said, I didn't want to throw an interception here because I wanted to do this. Well, today he took some chances with Justin Jefferson. It looked like the Lions were trying to take Adam Thielen away, and then they left Justin Jefferson man-to-man. I think this is going to be a week-to-week thing where teams are going to have to decide who do we want to take away.
It's a pick your poison situation.
Yeah, today they tried to take away Adam Thielen. It didn't work. Justin still had a great game.
And you mentioned Kirk Cousins a second ago. A great bounce-back game performance for him, a 94.6 rating, 275 yards. He looked like he was back to his normal self.
Yeah, 25 for 34. We know Kirktober. Kirk has had great Octobers in his career. And today was another one. And again, I go back to the taking chances. He threw some balls in some windows that we had not seen in the Browns game. And people were talking about the KJ Osborne miss, where he kind of got out of the pocket and he should have thrown it right away, but he held on to it. Today, you saw him move a step, and then he threw the ball deep to Justin Jefferson. He moved a step, threw the ball deep to Adam Thielen. That's what Kirk Cousins has to do in order to be considered an elite quarterback. And I think that was also a little bit of him and Zimmer exercising that demon. Like, hey, every time we go for a last-minute drive, it hasn't gone great. Well, today it did, and the kicker made the kick.
Can you maybe expand on that? How much that final play in those final seconds and then Greg Joseph kicking the field goal, what that can do for this team right now?
Well, it's a confidence builder, 1. And 2, as a team, when you can trust that your quarterback, so you look at the greats, Brett Favre, Aaron Rodgers, I hate to say it, but he is one of the greats, Tom Brady. There's times when you look at Tom Brady down 12 and you never have, doubt. You're like, yep, Tom Brady down 12, he's going to do it. Coming back like that for Kirk Cousins gives his teammates some confidence, especially guys like Breeland who don't know Kirk that well, just got here. Patrick Peterson just got here. So now you're in this locker room, you're like, you know what? Maybe the media is just hard on Kirk. Kirk can get this done if we give him a chance. And he had a chance, 37 seconds, and he made it work.
The pass game supported by a strong running performance from Alexander Madison. 113 yards on the ground is a career high for him. He broke it by 1 yard. I know the fumble was discouraging. He had 40 yards receiving as well. But he had a great day, all things considered, filling in yet again for Dalvin Cook.
Yeah, and I said that. I said that earlier on the pregame show with Ben Lieber and Pete Burgess. Everybody was like, start Dalvin. If he can go, he can go. I said sit him because I'm like, I don't think you need him against the Lions. Well, you kind of needed him, but we know if Alexander Madison knows he's RB1, he can get it done. He's got it done against Seattle twice and then again today. And so what I don't like about that last play is if he were to squirt out of that, scrum, they probably would have blown the whistle and said forward progress was already stopped. That's why I don't agree with that, because the whistle should have been blown dead there.
All right, let's take a look at the touchdown.
Yeah, here's the Texas route. And so you're going to see two stack receivers at the top. Kirk Cousins is just reading man. When he motions, he's going to have an easy to figure it out. He has the top two receivers released, which is the tight end and Justin Jefferson, and then he has the Texas route. The motion actually told him too, hey, nobody's covering Madison out the backfield, and I'm going to hit him early. He was decisive and quick with the ball, which gave him a chance to run after the catch.
My favorite part is Ezra Cleveland and Garrett Bradbury just sprinting to the back of Madison, propelling him in.
Oh yeah, you got to work on that. But here's another one with Darrisaw at left tackle. You saw him push this guy probably 7 yards down the field, which gave him that cutback lane. And that's the key in a true cutback lane. If that DN can smack your tackle and push him back, the running back gets stopped. Well, if you push your guy like he did 10 yards, or I think it was like 8-7 yards down the field, that's an easy cutback lane for an easy 6 to 7 yard gain.
Yeah.
Again, that is Alexander Madison, his top end speeds, not with Dalvin Cook. If that's Dalvin Cook with Darrisaw on that same play, Dalvin's probably gone a little bit longer, maybe a little bit farther, maybe a touchdown, because Dalvin just has that quicker of a move over Madison, but Madison had a good day today, though.
He did, and hopefully we'll see more of Christian Darrisaw in the mix now that he looks like he's back to full health. Speaking of Alexander Madison, the running back is at the podium now.
Alexander, what's it like to not only get in the end zone, but get some help from the guys behind you, kind of pushing you in along the way?
It feels good, just to know my teammates have my back. I already know that, but it's a good feeling when we can finish in the end zone together.
What's the key on a play like that? Do you just have to keep your feet moving, or is there something you have to do in order to be pushed in?
Yeah, just continue to keep your feet moving and just have more will to get in there than the other guy on the other side of the ball.
What happened on the fumble there at the end?
It was a play where we try and have a 4-minute offense, and it's a play where you got to know when the fight is over, forward momentum I believe will stop, but and blow the whistle. So we just got to make sure that we play whistle to whistle and make sure stuff like that doesn't happen again.
The cameras showed you talking to Kennedy after that fumble. What was that conversation about?
Just him being a good coach and letting me know some coaching points on how I can come out of that play better, and just being the coach that he is, making sure that I understand the situation of the game and make sure that mistake doesn't happen again.
Alex, what was different this week? I mean, this offense has been in position in the fourth quarter to set up game-winning drives, and they haven't panned out. Why did it work out this week?
Just believing in each other, just understanding that we have the guys who go out there and come out victorious on the other side. And things didn't go our way a couple different times, and some of the play that we did out there was not to the best of our ability, but we believe in each other and we come out at the end of the day as one team. So just doing that every single play is something that's going to pay off for us.
When did you know that Dalvin would be?
All right, well, the Vikings' big winners today, improved to 2-3 on the season, trying to stay in that NFC North conversation. So let's take a look at some of those scores from around the division. The Green Bay Packers walk away winners in overtime, 25-22 over the Cincinnati Bengals. Mason Crosby kicked a 49-yard field goal with 2 minutes left in OT to secure the victory. Green Bay is now 4-1 on the season. Out in Las Vegas, the Bears are on the road taking on the Raiders, and that game is currently in the second quarter. The Raiders have a lead by a field goal. And next week's opponent is the Panthers. They fall today, 21-18 to the Eagles. Sam Darnold threw 3 interceptions. I know I'm not supposed to look ahead too far and look at those kinds of stats, but it is nice to see that you can shake up Sam Darnold. You saw the performance of the pass rush today, and hope for some of the same next week when the Vikings travel to Carolina.
Yeah, and we know Sam Darnold had, I think, one of the most viral clips where he said he was seeing ghosts.
Yeah, I wasn't going to bring that up, Ron.
Yeah, so.
But it is Halloween season.
It is Halloween, so maybe he really did see some ghosts in the stands. But Sam Darnold, we know if you get to him, if you confuse him, make his feet get a little happy, he does see ghosts. He sees players that aren't there. Mike Zimmer getting Anthony Barr back, as you saw, he was really vital in making the Lions offensive line confused at who was going to come and who wasn't coming. So look, I mean, again, you don't want to shoot your gun too much, waste any bullets. So he didn't really blitz Anthony Barr. So I think next week you'll see a little bit of that change, because if they're watching film, they're thinking Anthony Barr A-gap, look for the left side. Now it's going to be Anthony Barr A-gap, fake it, you guys out, Anthony, go. And so that's why I love Mike Zimmer's brain, because he can now use that now. Like, yep, my guy's back. I'm going to show you what I really have.
And 3-3 sounds a whole lot better than 2-4 heading into the bye.
Yeah, big time. I mean, especially way better than 1-5. But yeah, 3-3 at least gives you hope. We know the Vikings went 13-3 one season after losing. I think they lost 2 or 3 early on, and then they went 13-3. And so it can happen. I mean, I hate to be cliche, and I know people are sick of hearing about that, but it still can happen. If they go 3-3, now you just have to win your games that you're supposed to win, and you still have to play the Packers. So it's not over, and you still have to play the Bears. You get the Lions again.
It's a tough schedule after the bye.
It is.
But you got to be optimistic.
You still have your NFC North games, and you still have some teams that are some winnable games out there.
Sure.
And that's the key, is win the games you're supposed to win, and don't end up in games like this against the Lions for the second time. Because now the Lions feel like, you know what, if we get you in Detroit, we can beat you. And you can't give them any hope.
No, they did win the game they were supposed to win today, though. And so we can go home and breathe another sigh of relief. I know I need some time to recover from that one personally. Thank you so much to former NFL wide receiver Ron Johnson for joining us here on Vikings Postgame Live. Have fun on the KFAN fan line.
Oh, yeah.
They should be
Psychology
lit.
time.
You'll break it all down. Well, one final thing before we go. Between the lines, we'll hear Gabe Henderson, Ben Lieber, and Paul Allen's final thoughts from this Vikings victory.
All right, voice of the Vikings, Paul Allen, Ben Lieber are beside me, and behind us is where Greg Joseph booted the 54-yard walk-off in PA. You got the call right today.
Yeah.
But today doesn't feel that great other than that call.
Well, thank you. And Greg Joseph has been nothing short of spectacular. I mean, he missed the walk-off against Arizona. Of course, that counts. But he hit from 55. That's the second walk-off he's had in his career. Believe it or not, in 2018, he had one with Cleveland against Baltimore. And, but I'm not going to say it, Ben, and be like, all kicking situations that are Minnesota completely settled, or can we say that? He's terrific.
No, I don't think that we can say that. We got to wait till we get into like a playoff situation, a game with a little bit more magnitude. Not to say that this game didn't have magnitude now. I mean, this was a must-win game for the Vikings. And, yes, it was an important game, important kick, but it certainly doesn't erase the curse that I think the fans think that this organization has with kicking.
Hey, no doubt, Nacho.
Well, one thing that we can say, Nacho, is that this Vikings defense, they bended, but they did not break. 7 drives past the 50 for the Detroit Lions today, only resulting in 17 points. Your thoughts?
Yeah, and talking to Anthony Barr after the game, I asked him about that final drive at the end of the game for the Lions. He's like, they got us. We weren't expecting a run. They called something that was a little bit more of a pass defense. Yeah. They got them on the run, so that's the checkers and chess game that everybody plays. But outside of that, look, they played phenomenal. They only gave up some field goals. They had 2 takeaways. They had 4 sacks. There was a lot of harassment on Jared Goff. So the only demerit that I see from the defense is that run defense continues to be a little untrustworthy at times.
I agree.
We forced them offensively to be one-dimensional. That's why they got away from the run game. If they got to be balanced, they were going to be well over 100 yards, maybe approaching 150 yards on the ground for the Detroit Lions.
Final thoughts, PA.
The game never should have come down to what it did. I've called Vikings games for 20 years, so I get it. Ben played for a decade. He gets it too, man. It doesn't matter if it's 1 or 100. Just get the dub, okay? And they did. So I'm going to end it right there. That never, ever, ever should have come down to what happened with Alexander Mattison and having to go down the field and kick that field goal to win the game. So, 9 to noon, KFAN, beginning Monday with me, Nacho Lieber, Power Trip, 5:30 to 9, KFAN. I don't know what Ben's going to get into, man, and I love Clint Kubiak, man. I've known him a long time. Things are too tight. It's just too tight. It's too conservative at certain times, and they know more about football than I'll ever know. But I care so deeply about this team, and I know how good and talented this offense is, that never should have happened. You're lucky to get the win. Go on and beat Carolina, and we'll see what happens from there.
Yeah, a win is a win, and you take them however you can get them, and we get the Carolina Panthers next. So that's all for us, Tatum.
Thanks, guys. I love a post-game preach from Paul Allen. Well, that'll do it for us here on Vikings Postgame Live, presented by Miller Lite. The Vikings, big winners today, 19-17 over the Lions. It ends the 3-game homestand as Minnesota hits the road and plays Carolina next week, October 17th at noon. Thanks for tuning in. We will see you guys right here next week.